Alright guys, welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. This is Ali Plays. So Plarium has released the update information for update 4.50. There are some good changes and there are some bad changes, but the thing is, the bad changes actually overshadow the good. And Plarium has actually remained silent. But this video is not about that. This video is about the new champions. 18 new champions in Raid Shadow Legends. I'm actually going to do a tier list on them, see where they rank, and see how far the power creep has gone. Are the old champions that we have built still viable after the release of these champions? Find out. By the way, guys, so my first goal for this channel is actually to reach 8,000 subscribers. We're about 500 subscribers away. We're also trying to get the privilege of doing giveaways for raids. So if you guys want free gems, make sure you guys like the video, helps support the channel, and eventually this channel will move back up to tier 3 like it was before, and we will be able to get access to the test server. So I do not have gameplay for these champions, but if you guys continue supporting the channel, you guys will have another source of gems, which is great for you guys and also great for me. And you guys know I like helping out the community. If you guys know me, I do like helping out the community. Yeah, let's get started on this video. All right, so here we are on tier list maker or tiermaker.com, and I've created my own tier list. So we have all the 18 champions are the new champions. I might mess up on the names. Obviously, I don't know. So here's the tiers. So we got up here, we got the champions are up there with the best of them. So like Chris here, Chris the Ageless, very strong A tier. I don't know what you guys consider very strong. I would say maybe a champion like Foley. I think Foley is very strong, but I did rank him as one of the worst legendaries before, but I was wrong about that. So I admit to my mistake. But I think he's mostly an arena champion though. Mid-tier, so whoever you guys think is mid-tier can go over here. Niche use, so champions like Bulwark, only used for clan boss early game, maybe a little bit of mid-game. The last one is trash-ass champions that flood the pool for no reason. So example is like Wood Painted or Tishada. All right, so first champion we're going to go over is a rare. He's a Void Affinity. So his A1 ability, he resets a cooldown of Devastator skill if he actually kills an enemy. We actually don't know the multipliers right now. I don't know if anybody else knows multipliers. His A2 ability, which is a Devastator, this is the skill. If he kills an enemy, it gets reset. So he has a 65% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn and decrease the turn meter of all enemies by 10% if the attack is critical. This is actually good. So you basically have an ability that stuns one enemy and then decrease turn meter for all the other enemies if it's crit, but usually people build attackers with 100% crit rate. But I don't know if he's actually worth building. Is it AoE weaken? If that was actually a decreased defense, it would have been better. I do like he has a universal aura skill. So for a rare champion, I actually think that he is very strong. I'm not saying he's going to be as strong as the epics or the legendaries are up here, but for a rare, I think he's very strong. So I think he's A tier. All right, so the next champion is Basatha. So this champion is going to get from Doom Tower Hard, Magic Affinity HP type. He has a decreased attack on his A1, which is a 60% chance when fully booked. Not bad. Decreased attack on A1 is actually very powerful. His A2 ability places Strengthen and continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. That is actually very good. And also places shield buff for 2 turns equal to 25% of his max HP. Allies under Fear, True Fear, Freeze, Provoke, Sleep, or Stun. This actually could have been better if it wasn't under these stipulations right here. So this guy could have been better. I mean, he's a legendary. Why not just give him that? He has an AoE that actually has a stun. So he has AoE stun and decrease each enemy's turn rate by 30%. So this ability is super powerful. So this reminds me of Trunda. Shatterbone's kind of like that too. He has an AoE, but he doesn't stun. He does decrease turn meter. Whenever an enemy is revived, he has a 75% chance of placing a stun debuff on them for 1 turn. That is very powerful as well. This effect cannot be resisted or blocked. Yeah, so honestly, I think this guy is going up here. I think he's up there with the best of them. That AoE, like Trunda for me, is up there with the best of them. That AoE ability has a stun and decreasing turn meter is very powerful. All right, so next up we have Candle Guard. I do have a picture of her right here. She just guards candles, I guess. Bruh. All right, so she's an attack type rare. She has a 40% chance of removing 1 random buff. She has a 50% chance of stealing a random buff instead of the target has 3 or more buffs. Kind of reminds me of Ogren Jailer. A2 ability, Triumph Cry, attacks all enemies, has a 50% chance of placing Weaken for 2 turns. She has increased attack and increased crit rate buff on the champion for 3 turns, then attacks all enemies. I like how she has 2 AoEs, so that means she's not trash tier. I don't know her multipliers, of course, but I think she's going to be mid-tier rare. I thought she would be actually be worse. So, not bad. All right, so we have Cornelia up next. This is what she looks like. I know she looks kind of weird. Let's hope she's good. So she's an epic. She doesn't look like an epic to me. So here she is. She's a support type. Let's see what kind of support she actually provides. So her A1, she has a 40% chance of increasing the cooldown of one of the target skills by 2 turns at random. That's actually very strong ability for an A1, and that can actually be improved to 50%. All right, so Piece of the Deep. I actually really like this ability. So she has a basically 100% chance of placing sleep if you fully max her out on all enemies for 1 turn. To me, this does not look like an attack, so this is very good. So she just places it. And then whenever an enemy loses sleep, you guys know how sleep works. Whenever they get hit, they wake up, so they lose sleep. So whenever an enemy loses sleep placed by this skill, she has a 50% chance of replacing it with a fear debuff for 1 turn instead. Hopefully it's true fear, but I think that it's going to be just regular fear, unfortunately. Revitalizing Rest. So she places a sleep debuff on an ally for 1 turn, and she heals the ally by 50% of the max HP and fills the turn meter by 50% whenever the sleep debuff expires or gets removed. That is actually very good. Most likely the sleep will get removed right away. So she heals the ally by 100% and completely fills the turn meter if the sleep debuff is lost due to taking damage from an enemy. So yeah, this is what I mean. You're going to have a 100% heal right here. And yeah, for support, she is interesting. I like how her kit works. And she also has a universal aura skill, but it's not that big in terms of speed boosting. But if you need somebody for faction wars or dwarves faction wars, I think she is good there. So for me, I think she's strong, but I don't think that she's like up there with the best of them. All right, so now we have the champion that probably almost everybody watching this video or in general is very excited about, the most excited about. You have Dark Kael. For me, it doesn't make sense how he's Dark Kael when he's already part of the Dark Elves faction, but whatever. He should have been, his regular Kael should have been part of the High Elves faction, and he should have been like teetering on darkness, and then eventually when this one comes out, he should have been Dark Elves from there. So now we have 2 Kaels in the Dark Elves faction, so that's hilarious. I think his name should have been Ultimate Kael instead of Dark Kael. Kind of like how Gallic became Ultimate Gallic. Weaver of Woes attacks one enemy 3 times, so triple hitter. Each has a 25% chance to instantly activate 2 poison debuffs or 1 poison debuff and 1 HP burn debuffs. That is very strong for a clan boss. For clan boss and dungeons, that is very strong. Binding Darkness, AoE that has a 75% chance of placing decreased attack, so he has the AoE decreased attack. Each crate also has a 75% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs on the target by 1 turn. I mean, a lot of people that see this guy's kit, they're thinking of clan boss. But yeah, he can be used a lot of places, man. This guy's going to be a beast in Dragon as well. He has a 75% chance, 100% when booked, of placing 3 5% poison debuffs and poison sensitivity for 2 turns. His passive, decrease the crit rate of enemies under 2 or more poison debuffs by 15%. That is very powerful. There are multiple champions on the team. This skill will only one will activate. I think that Dark Kael is actually very strong. I don't consider him up there with the best of them. I do think that he's better than these 2, but she is a support. But yeah, we're ranking him as a rare, ranking her as an epic. Same with him. All right, so up next we have Gwyneth, who's also part of the Doom Tower, one of the champions in the Doom Tower rotation. Attack type, epic champion from the Dark Elves faction, so we are getting a lot of Dark Elf champions. She has an AoE ability that's very interesting because it will actually not trigger counterattacks, which is very good. And apathy ability, when ascended, it attacks one enemy before attacking. She has an 80% chance of placing weaken debuff on the target for 2 turns. And he heals the champion by 30% of the damage inflicted. Then heals all allies with any surplus heal. That ability is very strong. And her flow of melee's ability transfers all debuffs from this champion to 1 target enemy, then attacks that enemy, ignores 10% of the target's defense for each debuff they are under. I don't know her multipliers, but I think that she's going to be respectable in terms of damage. Increase ally speed in Doom Tower battles by 25%. That is very, very good. So Gwyneth, I'm going to put her up there as well. Very strong A tier champion. If you're actually going to put her up there as an epic, I think that she would be up here. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm putting them up there. All right, so we got Hell Freak up next, part of the Demon Spawn faction. Spirit Affinity attack type. Attack one enemy 2 times. Each has a 20% chance of placing decreased defense. So this is interesting that we have a big version of decreased defense on an A1, but the chance is very low, and it's going to take a lot of books. That's 10%, 20% boost. There's going to be 40% chance. So it's still pretty low. I do not like that. So that's pretty meh to me. Mind games. Attack one enemy has a 50% chance of stealing old buffs from the target before attacking. That can actually be very good for the keeps. There's going to be 75% chance of stealing old buffs. That ability is pretty good. On the worst nightmare, she swaps HP with an enemy, then grants an extra turn. I don't know if that actually works with bosses, because that would be pretty OP. I'm pretty sure it does not work with bosses, man. So I think that she's pretty good, but I'm gonna put her up there as mid tier. No, I'm throwing her up here. Yeah, so I'm gonna put her up here for a rare champion. I think that she's strong. All right, so we got Jirogen up next. Shadowkin faction, Spirit Affinity, HP type. He has a decreased attack on his A1. That's a 60% chance of placing. Fated Duel, he places a shield buff on himself for 2 turns, equal to 25% of his max HP, then attacks one enemy and places a provoke for 1 turn. That's going to be good. He's HP type, so his HP is going to be very high, so he's going to have a pretty big shield. If the target's HP is equal to or lower than the champion, the provoke debuff cannot be resisted, so that's going to be very powerful for arena or something like that, because a lot of these champions that you want to provoke are going to have less HP than Jirogen. True Smite attacks one enemy will ignore 25% of the target's defense, will also ignore unkillable and block damage buffs. So this ability kind of reminds me of Rotos' ability, except it doesn't have the block revive. Ignores unkillable and block damage, and it ignores 25% of the target's defense. So if you actually build this guy with Savage set, I think this guy's going to be a big hitter, and he's going to be amazing, I think. He will receive 25% less damage from enemy attacks when this champion's HP drops 50% or below. Yeah, so Jirogen, for me, is going to be up there with the best of them. He's not up there with Chris, but you know what I mean, man. All right, Lorius the Proud. We finally got a lion in the game right here. He looks pretty cool just because he's a lion. I like lions, man. Why the fuck you lying? All right, so he's a Void champion, so likely you guys probably won't get him. A1 ability, double hit. Each hit has a 60% chance of placing a decreased defense ability for 2 turns, and you actually can't increase the chance of landing it. Unfortunately, the damage increases by 20% if the target has less than 60% HP. That is going to be huge. Attacks all enemies 2 times. So we got a double hitter AoE, which is very strong. And this champion, this is a passive part of this ability, is immune to stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear, and true fear. This skill is not on cooldown. So when this ability is up, he's actually going to be immune to these abilities. So this guy basically is going to have a free reign to use this ability. Except if you kill him first, or if you decrease his turn meter and kill him after that. So that is very powerful. This is hella power creep, man. Also, more attacks all enemies, and he has a 100% chance, if you book it, of placing True Fear for 1 turn. Before attacking, he has a 100% chance of placing Weaken on all enemies for 2 turns. Very strong again. This guy is going to be amazing. Active effect. So he instantly places an unkillable buff on himself for 1 turn before receiving a fatal hit. You know who that is? Basically Soul Crown right here. And his passive effect, he damage increases the champion's HP decreased by 1% for every 1% of HP loss. So this guy is incredibly powerful, and hella power creep has arrived again in Raid Shadow Legends since Rotos and Siphi arrived in the game. So Lorius the Proud has a reason to be proud, and he is going to dominate arena. So good luck, guys. All right, so up next we have Lumber. So we go from Lorius to Lumber. That's a huge drop in quality of champions. His A1 ability, he has a 30% chance of placing a decreased attack, weak version of decreased defense. Oh no, they're all very low chances. Decreased attack and decreased defense on A1 is actually very good for a rare. But too bad it's the weak versions of both. Flatten, he has a 50% chance of placing decreased defense for 1 turn, the big version. That's kind of redundant to me. Places a 50% increased crit damage buff on this champion for 2 turns that attacks all enemies. I do like he has an AoE. But for me, Lumber is going to be mid-tier. All right, so Magnar, double R. Spirit Affinity for part of the Demon Spawn faction, HP type. So we have another HP type. Seeing a theme here, Plarium. Superheated Hammer. He has a 45% chance of placing decreased defense, and he has a 100% chance if the target is under HP burn. Interesting. He has an AoE attack that places a headshot hit on enemies without HP burn. He has a 50% chance of placing a stun debuff on 1 turn on enemies under HP burn debuffs. So that's actually very powerful. This guy's going to be amazing for Spider's Den. Very amazing, especially as well as Doom Tower battles. Fan the Flames. He applies a debuff spread effect, taking 2 random debuffs from the target, places them on all enemies under HP burn debuff. Also increases duration of HP burn debuffs on all enemies by 1 turn. Wow. So he doesn't spread fear, true fear. You know, all those strong debuffs there. This champion heals by 1% of their max HP every time anyone in the battle takes damage from HP burn debuff. So you have to actually pair this guy with an HP burn champion. He's going to be amazing. Mordecai comes to mind. And yeah, this guy's, he's going to be boss, man. Mordecai, Drexar, Blood Twin. You know, you guys know all the HP burn champions by now. I think this guy is kind of niche use, but I think he's also very strong. I want to put him up here. All right, up next, we actually have the Fusion Champion. So this part of the video will help you guys decide if you actually want to go for Mother Cybele or not. I do think that she is a good champion, from what I've read in her kit. She's not a must-have if you are struggling with the Knight Reverence Faction Wars, or if you need a reviver in general or a healer on your team, then I would actually go for her, depending on how hard it is. But if you want to skip her, there is no harm. So she is support, Force Affinity. She has an AoE attack on her A1 that has a 25% chance of placing decreased speed for 2 turns. So she AoE decreased speed is actually very strong. She also fills her turn meter by 15%. This 25% can actually be boosted to 50% chance of placing the decreased speed. So it is very good. And I can actually see that being combined with a stun set, which is going to be very powerful, especially on an A1 ability. Soul Shepherd. She places Revive on Death buff and increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. For me, I don't really like Revive on Death unless because you got to time it, right? So unless you know your champion is dying, that's when you want to use Revive on Death. So to me, it's not as good as a straight up Revive. Uncanny Transfer. So she swaps HP with an ally if the champion is equal to. This is very long, man. It's like a paragraph. That is way too long, man. Grave Walker. She fully heals the ally with the lowest HP whenever she is killed. And she heals all allies by 20% of their max HP and fills the turn meter by 50% whenever she's revived. So I can see that actually working with her Revive on Death ability. That is very nice. Increase ally speed in all battles by 24%. But I think she is very good. For support champion, we actually don't know how strong she is. But I can see her kit actually being very clutch. And for a legendary, I do think that she can be better. But for now, I'm actually going to drop her as an A tier. But I do think that she is good. But that's we got to test her out as well, right? All right, so Taya is up next. Epic Void Affinity, Shadowkin Faction. She is also part of the new Doom Tower rotation, so you can actually get her for free. So she actually has decreased accuracy on her A1 that can have a 60% chance when fully booked of placing it. Venom Kunai, she attacks 3 times. Each has a 100% chance when booked of placing 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. Blood Boil, she attacks one enemy, has a 75% chance, 100% when booked, of instantly activating any poison debuffs and HP burn debuffs on the target. Also has a 75% chance of placing 100% heal reduction for 2 turns. Increase ally accuracy in all battles by 50. So I think that she's okay. I think she's good, but she's not for an epic to me, especially a void one. I'm actually gonna drop her. I'm dropping her, man. She's gonna be mid tier to me. Mid tier or niche. I'm actually gonna put her here. All right, the next champion is actually a legendary, Tunisia or something like that. It's not like a country or something. Let's see if Tunisia is actually as powerful. Leorius. Yeah, so she is void attack type, part of the same faction as well. So A1, she actually has decreased defense. She has a 100% chance of placing decreased defense for 2 turns on the target before attacking if the target has HP burn. We have another champion that synergizes with HP burn. Plarium is going ham with HP burn these days. Cunning Chaos attacks all enemies and has a 100% chance when booked of placing HP burn for 3 turns. So all enemies are going to have HP burn. And it also has a 100% chance when fully booked of placing stun for 1 turn on targets with 50% turn meter or more. And she has a 75% chance, well 100% when booked, placing decreased speed for 3 turns on targets with less than 50% turn meter. That is actually very powerful. She has hella crowd control. She puts HP burn. She puts decreased speed. She puts stun. Crazy move right here. We don't know her multiplier, so we don't know how strong this ability is. But she is an attack type and she's legendary, so chances are it's going to be pretty high. Burning Regret. She'll see damage. She attacks one enemy. Damage increased by 40%. Wow. Wow. Damage increases by 40% for each active HP burn debuff in the battle, so that can be up to 400% extra damage. And I'm guessing the multipliers are very high for this ability. Also has a 100% chance when fully booked of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%. And decrease the target's turn meter by an additional 15 for each active HP burn debuff in the battle. Very powerful. Power creep has arrived once again. In her heat, whenever an ally receives a freeze debuff, she has a 50% chance replacing it with HP burn of 2 turns instead. So why is she doing that? Because it doesn't matter if the HP burn is on the enemies for her other ability, so it synergizes very well. And this debuff cannot be blocked or removed. Whenever any ally or enemy is under HP burn debuff, this champion is immune to stun, sleep, freeze, fear, true fear, and provoke. These guys are making our crowd control useless, man. Essentially useless. If these people actually use these champions in arena, I don't know if people are actually going to use Temesia. Temesia, I think I see her as a PvE type of champion, and Leorius might be, obviously he's going to be an arena champion, arena beast. But I think that she's going to be up there with the best of them as well. Obviously, I think that Leorius is better, but she's going to help hella help with progression. If you guys need help with progression, she's going to be amazing if you actually manage to pull her. She is voice, so chances are probably won't get her. This is the nature of Raid Shadow Legends, man. All right, Eurogrim is up next. So he's Void Affinity support type, part of the faction, Ogre Tribe's faction. Skull Staff is a triple hitter that can actually place poison. 25% chance of placing 5% poison. This kind of reminds me of Steel Skull with this ability. Triple hitter that can place the 5% poisons. Wait, Steel Skull, I think, is a double hitter. Tingly Tincture removes all debuffs from an ally, then it heals them by 40% of their max HP. Very nice. Places 3 5% poison debuffs on all enemies for 2 turns. Also places 2 15% continuous heal buffs. Wow, we got a budget. I don't know if you can call it budget, but I guess because he's not legendary. We got a budget battle Khazar over here. Increase ally speed in all battles by 20%. So yeah, I'm gonna put this guy up there right here. All right, Tolth the Maimed is up next. Blade Hand Butchers is A1. Wow, they're releasing too many voids, man. Double hitter, each hit heals this champion by 30% of the damage inflicted. This attack cannot be critical. What? Can't even crit with this ability? What the heck? That kind of sucks, man. Hopefully it hits hard. I don't know how hard it's going to hit without a crit, though. Cut Wide Open. Attacks one enemy when not attacking bosses. It inflicts pure damage. And it decreases the target's HP to 50%. What the? Inflicts damage based on this champion's max HP instead and places a stun debuff for 1 turn. The target already has less than 50% HP. Inflicts damage based on the champion's max HP when attacking bosses. Wow. This attack cannot be critical. So this champion cannot crit, what it seems like. So you can actually go hardcore on stacking this guy's HP because it's most likely his damage is going to be based on his HP. You can't crit, so you don't need to build crit rate or crit damage. That is very interesting. Very new idea for a champion right here. Armor Cracker, he decreases the value of all enemy shield buffs by 50% at the start of every turn, then increases champion's max HP by the same amount, up to 25% of their max HP. Guys, straight up, boom, up there with the best of them. That is very strong, man. All right, so Vassal of the Seal is up next. He's part of the Doom Tower rotation. He plays the HP burn debuff on target for 1 turn on his A1. Places HP burn debuff on a target for 2 turns if they are under a True Fear debuff or a decreased attack debuff. Also places shield buff on this champion for 2 turns equal to 10% of their max HP. Interesting. I can see uses for this guy against the Scarab King. Attacks all enemies, has a 100% chance when booked of placing True Fear as well as decreased attack. Daemon Possession. So he balances the HP of all allies. The HP levels of all allies will be brought up to the level of the ally with the highest HP. After balancing HP, he grants an extra turn. This is actually very strong. So this actually negates heal reduction, just like Sinesha's ability. I think she's the only other champion that has that ability, if I recall. Might be wrong. If I am, let me know down in the comment section. Legion of Doom is a passive. He receives 20% less damage from champions from the Bannerlords, High Elf, and Sacred Order factions. There are 2 or more Demon Spawn champions on the team alongside this champion. He increases the crit damage of all Demon Spawn champions on the team by 20%. Very good. He's very good, man. I'm throwing him up there as well. Plarium is not releasing trash-ass tier champions so far. What do you got with Varl the Destroyer? Heals himself by 30% of damage inflicted on his A1. Very good. It can crit as well, so it's going to be very, very big heal. Lay Waste. Attacks all enemies and has a 100% chance when booked. Placing Weaken. Also places decreased attack for 2 turns when those enemies who receive a Weaken. On those enemies who receive a Weaken debuff. So AoE decreased attack and Weaken. Very good. Calamity Torrent. Attacks one enemy will ignore 30% of the target's defense. Decreases the target's max HP by 50% of the damage inflicted. Places a block damage buff on this champion for 1 turn if the attack kills an enemy. Very strong, man. Mass Murder increases champion attack by 10% each time they use an active skill. Stacked up to 100%. Yep. There we go, guys. Power creep has arrived once again in Teleria. And yeah, this is too crazy. So how useless are the old champions that we got? How useless are they going to be? Because you think about it, in Arena, you have one champion here where these crowd control abilities are not going to work. And you got another one over here. So champions that used to be OP like Tormund might not be as prevalent because these guys seem like they can wipe out teams by themselves. We got this guy where you don't even have to build crit or crit damage on him. We got these two. I know these two are Doom Tower rotation champions, but you know how whales are going to have these champions over here. So let me know down in the comment section. How do you guys feel about this? If your old champions are going to be useless, let me know down in the comment section. How do you guys feel about that? I mean, what are the odds that you're going to be lucky and actually pull these void champions that are very powerful? Hopefully this doesn't ruin the game. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for the video. Let me know how you feel about this guy right here. Him and the other one. What do you guys feel about this? Let me know down in the comment section. I really want to know you guys' opinions on it, and I do read every single comment. And yeah, also leave a heart on your comments, man. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.
I'm Tyrone. I need everybody to subscribe to the homie Ali Al Plays, and that's non-negotiable either.